extremely fun. It's Sunrise with Craig Vronick right here on KCMX AM 880. Lively conversations around news, politics, and people, plus local news and weather every 30 minutes. We want to hear from you. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or go to KCMXAM.com. Join in the conversation by calling 541-772-8255. Sunrise, where it matters what you think.
But Tuesday's just as bad. Yeah, they call it stormy Monday. But Tuesday's just as bad.
Good morning, everybody. 7 minutes after the hour. Welcome to the Sunrise Show right here on KCMX News Talk 880. Welcome all of our Twitter fans, our Facebook fans, and our folks streaming all around the world. 43 degrees outside, a little rain this morning, but thrilled to welcome in 3 candidates for Judge of the Circuit Court, 1st District Position 2, and we have the incumbent, Judge Adam Peterson in.
Good morning, Craig. How are you?
Good morning, Judge. And we have Attorney William Francis in as well. William?
Hey, Craig. How you doing?
Glad to see you here. And District Attorney David, Deputy District Attorney David Hoppe. Good morning, David. How are you, sir?
Good morning.
Good, good, good. All right, so we have 3 candidates that are completely vetted for Judge of the Circuit Court and incumbent, of course, 1st District Position 2. And, of course, we've got some rules and regs on our timing. I want to get to just as many questions as we can. And, of course, I've given our candidates all the instructions on timing. I'm going to be giving introductions for them, and then I'll give each candidate 1-minute introduction. I'm going to address the question, and then the candidate will have a 1-minute response, and then we'll allow each of the candidates for a 30-second rebuttal. And if it's needed, we'll go into a second rebuttal. But we'll have just enough time between that and the breaks. So I want to get right into it. We've got William Francis. He's attorney here in Medford. His website is williamfrancis.com. Of course, undergraduate work from Suffolk University and Boston University and Willamette University College of Law, Doctor of Jurisprudence. And then David Hoppe, he's the current Deputy District Attorney. He was in Klamath Falls. He was an attorney from 1995, and then University of Michigan, and graduated, bachelor's degree, and a prosecutor in Klamath for 2 years, and then he's been in the district here handling that. And Judge Adam Peterson, appointed this last term, but he's a current judge for Jackson County Circuit Court, and he was a Jackson County Deputy District Attorney and a Special Assistant for the U.S. Attorney and Law Clerk, and worked in the Mill and Willamette University. And, of course, JudgeAdamPeterson.com is his website, and David's website is DavidHoppe4Judge.com. So, gentlemen, thanks so much for being here this morning. I'll give the start to Judge Adam Peterson. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Craig. Hey, Craig, thanks again for having us this morning. I go to work every day keeping the people of Jackson County safe and making sure that Jackson County is a just place. I'm honored to serve the people of Jackson County here as their circuit court judge, and I believe strongly that judges should be following the law, not creating the law, and I'm looking forward to sharing with folks over this next minute, or, well, in this minute and in this hour, you know, my history, my background, being a native Oregonian, working hard in the district attorney's office, handling all sorts of cases, quite frankly, every case that we had in the district attorney's office, and the hard work that I go and put in every day, looking out for the hardworking people here in Jackson County. So looking forward to this next hour.
Great, Judge. Thank you very much. See, we did good. We had 8 seconds left.
All right.
So, David, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm David Hoppe. I'm a Deputy District Attorney. I've been an attorney now, I think, maybe today, for 19 years. I've been a prosecutor for about 15 years. I've done the child abuse caseload, domestic violence caseload. I've done multiple homicides, and I have spent my career truly trying to make Jackson County safe, and Klamath County as well. I'm running because I want to do 3 things. I want to put children first, I want to fast-track domestic violence cases, and I want to hold violent offenders accountable. I come to each of those planks of my platform from my unique experience having been a child abuse prosecutor, a sexual assault prosecutor, and a DV prosecutor. We need to make court better for children, better for women, and get these cases resolved as quickly as possible with justice for all.
Excellent, excellent, David. Thank you so much. William?
Good morning, Craig. I thank you for having us.
I'm very thrilled to have you in. So.
And I think it's really important that we do what we're doing this morning because one of the themes of my election, one of the reasons I'm running is because I believe we ought to have open and fair and free elections. And while we have an appointed judge who's been in office for a few months, appointed by the governor, I think it's really, really important that we include the people, the voters, in this process and have open, fair, and free elections in Jackson County. I think there are plenty of good reasons to run for judge and plenty of contributions that a person could make. I think judges especially should be mindful of the inconvenience to citizens who have to return to court for multiple appearances. I think judges need to understand that they are judges and not counselors or social workers or treatment providers. And I think a judge should be inclusive.
There's your alarm. So that's the ding. That's the ding if we get dinged. But William, thank you for that. David, thank you as well. And Judge Peterson, thank you there. I will start out with our first question, and this pretty much addresses, and I personally have been so impressed by the bench that we've had in Jackson County. I mean, for a number of years. I just want to say that. But always happy to have an election. My first question, and William, I'll start this to you, is that please explain the issue of judges being appointed rather than elected. And there's your minute response.
Historically, what's happened in Jackson County, and I can only think of 2 occasions in the last 20 years where this hasn't been the case, judges have left office before their term in office is up. The Oregon Constitution provides that judges shall be elected by the voters of the state for a term of 6 years. And we anticipate that judges may leave office. We would anticipate those would be for reasons of death or disability or some serious event. But judges generally have been leaving office for no particular reason before their terms are up. This results, or has resulted in the governor making an appointment of the judge to fill that vacancy. We have Plan B judges. We have plenty of judges who are available to carry that weight for a period of time. But what we have instead is a judge who's appointed, and it'd be my position that a culture is developed that allows judges to be appointed.
There you go.
And become beholden to the governor rather than to the people.
All right. All right. David, the question is, please explain the issue of judges being appointed rather than elected.
Do I get my 5 seconds
You do,
back?
yeah. So what we can do is, there you go.
Okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with having an appointment process when there's a vacancy, and that you do a temporary appointment to fill that vacancy. What the problem is when the exception becomes the rule. Now, I know in Klamath County they have 5 judges, and 4 of them started off as appointments. I know Judge Wogan was actually elected to the bench. And I think here now we have 6 out of our 9 were appointed. So it's become the rule that we're doing this through appointment process, what was meant to be temporary. And then the incumbents run, they're on the ballot as the incumbent, and they win. So basically, you have a separation of powers issue where the governor is determining what the judiciary of the state of Oregon is. Now, there's nothing wrong with a fair and open appointment process when it's for the exceptional case. But when it becomes a habit, when it becomes a rule, then there is a problem. You know, we're just here, Mr. Francis and I are here to test the democracy. That's what we're built on. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
Okay. Judge?
Well, I'm glad the Constitution was brought up. The Constitution of the state of Oregon says that if, in fact, a judge leaves, that the governor appoints the replacement, and then at the next general election, that replacement can seek re-election or to retain their seat, and that's exactly what I'm doing. We can't sit around when a judge leaves. In the case, we had 2 openings that happened. Both happened not because judges had any sort of nefarious reasons, but both had left the bench because of family reasons to go and deal with family issues, and I respect that. Family's important to me and to this community, and so they went and dealt with that. We had a process.
A little bold and extremely fun, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. on KCMX AM 880. Lively conversations around news, politics, and people, plus local news and weather every 30 minutes. Here's Craig.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I needed the shelter of someone's arms. There you were.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 23 minutes after the hour, getting to our candidates, giving them just as much time as we possibly can. I want to get right to it. We've got Attorney William Francis in, Deputy District Attorney David Hoppe in, and Judge Adam Peterson in. They're all running for Judge of the Circuit Court, 1st District, Position 2 in our debate series this morning. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being in this morning. My second question, and I'll start with David, is what is the temperament needed to be a circuit court judge? And I'll give you a minute.
Well, my experience, the judges that I've respected have been the ones with substantial life experience, and they've been there and done that. They've handled important matters. Things don't throw them in court, and they can deal with critical situations. The reason that I'm running is because I have 19 years of in-the-court experience. I've handled some pretty big matters for Jackson County, Klamath County, and even in my civil work, I did contested custody child cases, and I've seen what court can do, and I just think that when I see a judge that I appreciate and respect, it's somebody who's been there and done that, can use their experience to arrive at just decisions, not shoot from the hip, and not be reflexive or just responsive out of fear, but someone who absolutely is just even-tempered and has the wisdom and experience necessary to deal with the situations that arise.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Judge Peterson, the same for you, the temperament.
Craig, you know, every day people come into my courtroom and they're at some of the most difficult spots in their life. They have situations involving either divorces or criminal cases. Either they're charged with crimes or they've been the victim of crimes, things involving their children, money matters. And what happens is they come and they walk through those doors and they expect somebody like me that's sitting up there that is going to listen to both sides, is going to take the facts as they're presented and apply it to the law and make sound decisions based upon the laws that were passed by the people of the state of Oregon, but also treat them with respect and dignity. And I'm really heartened by the fact of the support that I've had by fellow judges and retired judges, attorneys in the system that have seen my work on the bench, see my temperament, and see how I treat the citizens with respect, each one, no matter how they come to me.
Okay. William, that same question as well.
Well, of course, I agree with David and Adam, and I think a judicial temperament is something, as Adam says, that's developed over a period of years. I think an experienced judge has probably seen everything at least twice and isn't thrown by things that might occur in the courtroom. And so, and for that reason, I think a good judge would be confident enough to be inclusive and collegial and respectful in their interactions with all of the attorneys and all of the parties who appear in their courtrooms. And I think a judge should be confident enough to be, and in being inclusive, should be able to value the expertise and the experience and the counsel of the working attorneys who appear in their courtrooms. At the same time, though, I think judges have to be mindful of the expense and the inconvenience that people go through when they have to return to court for multiple appearances. I think it's important that a judge would follow the rules that would get the cases resolved expeditiously so that people don't have to go through a lot of burden to get justice. And at the same time, I think the judge does that by being decisive.
There you go. Okay. A 30-second rebuttal. David? Basically standing on what you
said the same thing about what the temperament should be. I would say this, though, just to pick up on what Bill was saying. Honestly, I want to put children first. The statute requires that we handle those cases expeditiously. I just dealt with a situation that involved a child. We had to wait 2 years. Now, not necessarily, anybody's horrible fault in that situation.
Yeah.
It's a big matter, but we can't put kids' lives on hold that long. It's just not fair to the children, and court
Exactly.
is no place for children.
Judge?
Yeah, just going off of what Dave said, you know, I understand that Dave has dusted off some of his old talking points from when he unsuccessfully ran for DA, but the reality is that here in Jackson County, folks get their hearings as soon as possible. Under Oregon law, within 60 days somebody's lodged, they're having their case unless they waive that. And if there is a continuance that occurs, it occurs because one of the attorneys has requested it. And if there's a dispute, judges are having those matters go to court. We're not wasting time. And the suggestion that myself or anybody else on the bench doesn't take child cases seriously or domestic violence, we move those through the system as quick as possible. And I challenge Dave to come up with examples of where that hasn't happened.
All right, you know what, let's go. William, 30 seconds on a rebuttal on that.
Well, I think part of the delay that occurs is, as I started to say, judges need to be decisive. Judges can't attempt to be family counselors or social workers or treatment providers. Things get to court because there's a conflict. The conflict has to be decided by a judge, and it's a judge's job to be a judge. And by enforcing rules and enforcing timelines, not just the 60-day rule if somebody's in custody, but the uniform trial court rules and the supplemental rules that give timelines for the resolution of
David?
cases have to be enforced.
What is your thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I just don't understand the bitterness here. I don't think children are talking points. You know, David Orr's tried to do this, has been shot down, but, you know, Orr has 44545, expediting proceedings. If a child is a victim, that case must take precedence and must be handled expeditiously. I know that lots of counties, I know that the bigger counties, Multnomah County, they'll pull judges from different dockets and make sure that those cases get handled. We don't, and I can give an excellent example. I did the Anthony Rayburn case.
Judge?
Yeah, it's just simply the fact is in Jackson County, every case is important, and we handle cases as quickly as possible with the resources that are allowed. And again, this idea that somehow cases involving children or domestic violence are put on the back burner is just silly. It's absolutely ludicrous. And I appreciate David wanting to make some political points because he's running for office, but it's just, I think we need to be truthful in how we're presenting things. And again, I challenge him to come up with examples. If there's a continuance that happens in this county, it's because a prosecutor has asked for it, because they can't locate a witness, or a defense attorney's waiting for scientific evidence or something of that sort.
I was going to ask about that, yeah. This is a good point. Sunrise, we're coming right back. We'll be back with more on The Sunrise Show.
On KCMX News Talk 880.
Really complicated white-collar crime or child pornography cases involving technology. And in those cases, what happens is many times, for instance, prosecutors ask for continuances because children are in treatment and receiving treatment. Other times, defense attorneys are asking for continuance because they're waiting for DNA and scientific evidence. In those cases, the court is required to grant those continuances, but at some point, if it becomes too much, obviously we set it for trial, but we move things along as quickly as possible.
Okay. David? That same question. What can be done?
Lots.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever objected on a 60-day waiver issue. If a defense attorney's not ready to go on that 60 days, lodge defendant, complicated case. Okay, but after that, let's go. Let's get this done. The statute requires it. The judge has to make findings, okay? It talks. The legislature's made this determination. It's the law. It's not about caseloads and what the local judges would like to have done with the system. It's what the legislature has determined. The judge shall take into consideration the age of the child and potential adverse impact the delay may have on the well-being of the child. If you've had that initial 60-day waiver, come again. We're good to go. And the state rarely asks for continuances. Most people in our office ready to go, even on 60-day cases. Yes, there may be some scientific processing that needs to happen, but for the most part, we're ready to go, especially if children are involved.
Okay. William?
Well, I think we got to make a distinction here between criminal cases and family cases. And not all family cases involve criminal defendants. In fact, the vast majority of them don't. I mean, what we're talking about is a way to expedite cases through the system. In the situation that involves a family case, let's just say a plain vanilla divorce. By the time the case gets to court in front of a judge, the time for treatment, the time for counseling, the time for family evaluations, the time for the psychologist to review the discovery is over. What we need now is for a judge to make a decision and not try to give further mediation, further family counseling, further treatment providing, and just get the case done. Judges need to judge. By the time the case gets to that point and it's in front of a judge, it's because it's a very contentious situation and you need someone to make that call. I'd like to speak additionally about the criminal aspects of this, but I'm out of time.
Okay.
But I'd like to get onto that later.
All right. Oops. Judge, 30-second rebuttal.
I mean, Craig, I don't think there's much to rebut. I think we all have a different take on this. What I can tell you is that I handle two types of cases. I handle family law matters. I'm very proud of the fact that my docket, which I control, we move divorces through extremely quickly, and we move things along. We give the parties the chance to mediate as required under Oregon law, and after that, we're setting cases, we're handling them. As a matter of fact, I have a divorce trial this morning after we get done here. In regards to criminal cases, again, we move things along as quickly as possible. I'm out of time.
Okay. David, as well, a rebuttal?
Yes, I don't want to focus necessarily on criminal defendant cases that involve the abuse of the children. Also, in these cases that are domestic violence cases, children are witnesses, children are victims as well.
Yeah.
We need to handle those in an expeditious manner as well, and the judges need to be making these findings when they're determining whether a continuance should be granted. That's the law. All I'm saying is I want to follow the law. The metrics that are used right now are not the metrics I would use as a judge.
Okay. William, you had a 30-second rebuttal coming.
Regarding criminal cases, there's a huge backlog that develops because the word is out on the street among the criminals in our community that if they don't show up for their court appearances, very little, if nothing, happens to them. I think the penalties that the judges have been imposing are less severe than what you'd expect a vice principal in a high school to give a kid who's cutting classes. I mean, it's not even as serious or as severe as detention. There ought to be a penalty to encourage people who fail to appear to start appearing for court, and the docket would move along much more quickly in all the cases that come to court.
Okay. This brings me right to my next question, and I'm really glad that played out, is David, I'll go to you.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Jackson County Circuit Court have enough revenue and support to do what they do? And I'm saying, are we undermanned or overmanned? You know, is there a situation where we could get these cases through faster if we had more people or more revenue? Do you see limits in that particular case? And there you go.
Well, there's always limits in government work based on resources, where it's the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office, the judiciary. Everybody's been cut through this process. I mean, Medford Police Department's doing pretty well, but that's kind of a unique situation.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, and I was trying to explain, like in the Anthony Rayburn case, went to 60 days, got continued, he remained lodged. Went to 60 days, got continued, he remained lodged. Finally, on the third trial, I was able to try the case. You know what? There's 9 judges. We have the Plan B judges. We have the ability, we have pro tem judges. We have the ability to get the cases tried in an expeditious manner. As far as workload goes, we have a tremendous workload. We're down people at the district attorney's office. We still do the cases. The judges can do the cases. It's not that people are overworked or overstressed. It's a matter of managing the caseload so that we can get these cases done. And honestly, I just want to follow the statute and do what we're required to do.
Yeah, okay. So, Judge, we have enough people and have enough money, and your response would be?
Well, what I can say is one of the #1 frustrations for myself and all of my colleagues that sit on the bench is that exactly the issue that Bill brought up, which is our jail is limited. We have a limited jail space. The folks that are in jail, the jail keeps the most serious offenders, the Measure 11 offenders. And after that, you fill out probation violations, and there's very little time left. And so, as a result, we have built up somewhat of a backlog that happened, vast majority of which before I even showed up on the scene. But I fail to see how anybody else can come up with any resolution until we get a bigger jail or more jail beds, which I know the sheriff's working on and the sheriff candidates that are running for that position are working on, but it comes down to resources. And so I'm frustrated. I sentence somebody to 30 days in jail. They go and do 1 day and they go out to the work center and they're released, you know? I mean, that's a constant frustration, and it's a frustration for citizens in this community, and I really think that it's an issue that is a public safety issue that I'm concerned about every day.
Exactly. There we go. Did well on that. William, your 1 minute response?
Sure. There are a lot of cases that remain in the system for a long time because defendants don't show up for their court appearances. And I would suggest that rather than encouraging them to get in touch with their lawyers or do what they're supposed to do to make sure their cases move forward, including showing up for court, Put some teeth in that. I mean, there may not be jail space to keep them overnight, but there are certainly deputies in the system who could detain these people for an afternoon or the better part of a day, and just make it unpleasant enough to keep these people in a particular area, and give them some incentive and some knowledge that if they don't show up for court and help to move their cases along, there will be consequences.
Excellent. Okay. Well, let's take a quick break. We did not get to our rebuttal at that point, but I think I covered that. And I want to get into some more questions. We've got the debate series going on right here, and we've got our candidates for judge of the Circuit Court, 1st District, Position 2, William Francis, David Hoppe, and Adam Peterson, and you can get to their websites, williamfrancis.com. Assistant District Attorney David Hoppe's website is davidhoppeforjudge.com, and Judge Adam Peterson's website is judgeadampeterson.com. We'll be right back.
Will return in a moment on KCMX News Talk 880.
You're invited to the grand opening of Nature's Pet Market of Medford, Saturday, April 26th from 10 a.m. to 4. Nature's Pet Market, where you'll find wholesome grub for the pets you love. Over 30 varieties of organic, holistic, and fresh dog and cat food, self-wash, and full-service grooming, and one of the largest selections of sustainable, recyclable, and durable toys, leashes, bedding, and crates in the region. Join in the party as we celebrate with a mini pet fair, including prizes, raffles, and giveaways, free samples from distributors and manufacturers, and free self-wash for the day. It's the grand opening of Nature's Pet in Medford at the Medford Center across from Safeway Gas. Come join the party and bring Fido too. Learn how easy and affordable it is to feed the pet you love wholesome grub. For more information, call 541-500-8484.
A little bold and extremely fun, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. on KCMX AM 880. Lively conversations around news, politics, and people, plus local news and weather every 30 minutes. Here's Craig.
Do you like good music? That sweet soul music. Just as long as it's swinging. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Out here in the floor now. We're gonna go now. Dancing to the music. Oh yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 46 minutes after the hour, about 44 degrees. We're finishing up on our debate series, and this first debate out of the chute, candidates for judge at the Circuit Court, the 1st District, Position 2. Many of the judgeship positions are unopposed. So the 3 candidates for Position 2 are just that. They're the 3 candidates. The other ones in the district, Judge Tim Barnack, Judge Lisa Greif, and Judge Lorenzo Mejia, and Judge Kelly Revasapor are all unopposed in their positions, 6, 8, 1, and 3. But the Position 2 is not, and we have the 3 candidates in the studio this morning, and very excited about that. William Francis, the attorney, his website is williamfrancis.com. Deputy District Attorney David Hoppe, his website, David Hoppe, the number 4, and judge.com. And then Judge Adam Peterson, and you can get his website at judgeadampeterson.com. working so hard to get the timer and everything else working right?
They're sensitive to the needs of people, and I want to be complimentary about that. But at the same time, I think that we've got rules that can be followed. There are timelines that can be imposed, and I think it's up to the judge to make sure that those timelines are followed. For example, if a case isn't ready to go to trial, then a remedy for that would be to dismiss it and refile it, and don't let it continue to jam the system. Regarding the point that we were making before about giving some incentive to people to at least come to court and make sure that their cases move along. You know, when there was an escape at the jail and they remodeled, they put in an enclosed area with chain link fence. You know, that area alone could be used just to hold people in detention for a few hours, just to let them know that there are consequences for not coming to court. And that would be something that would be economical and efficient, wouldn't cost a lot of money, and I think would make a difference in the way people respond to commands to come to court.
Excellent, excellent. David, the same for you related to pro or con on related to what the courts, and is there good or bad? I mean, you see problems, or do you see something that's really happening well that we're doing in the county faced with all the other counties?
Well, I've discussed the expediting proceedings with children. We need to follow the law on that. I'd like to talk a little bit, though, about fast-tracking domestic violence cases. I've talked to people from Community Works, On Track, DV Council, Sexual Assault Council. I think we're all in agreement that better results for everybody involved when these cases are handled in an expeditious manner. Right now, the defense are simply waiting out the prosecution, and they're ending up getting dismissed later on after a few continuances, and the system's being played. That's not good for anyone. The victims are going to be willing to stay in the system if they know that their case is going to be resolved in a quick and efficient manner. It's about, you know what, there's either going to be reconciliation or there's not. That can be determined fairly early on in the process. Get the people the treatment they need. We get better outcomes for offenders. It's good for everyone involved. There's real justice, swift justice in that particular arena, and a lot of those cases involve children as well.
Excellent. Judge, same for you.
Yeah, you know, a lot has been made about the negative of the court. I want to talk about the positive that myself and my colleagues, you know, we essentially on a shoestring budget are taking bubblegum and baling wire and running in the top 5 per capita most busiest domestic relations court here in Jackson County. I'm proud to be one of those judges. I also handle criminal matters. We're moving people in and out. If a woman is a victim of domestic violence here in this county, she can come and get a protective order, have that hearing that same day, receive that order, and then somebody that challenges is going to get their hearing within 15 days and to be able to challenge that. And that's justice. We do that. We do it on a shoestring budget. Issues that come up are a result of the jail, which is outside of the control of the judges, and I'm very proud of my endorsements from folks, especially in the DV world. Dr. Rita Sullivan, who runs one of the biggest DV treatments areas here in On-Track, and substance abuse is one of my endorsers. I'm proud of the work that I've done in that area and those endorsements.
Excellent. All right. In our last couple of minutes, gentlemen, I'd like to give you all time. We have 2 minutes to split among 3 wives, so 30 to 45 seconds. William, related to closing and why you're running.
Sure. I think I'm running, I mean, as I said before, because I think the voters, and I believe the voters of Jackson County are entitled to have open, fair, and free elections for judge. And I think we've raised some interesting points this morning. I think that we should not be altogether too congratulatory of ourselves for just doing what the law provides we're supposed to do. You know, getting people into protective orders and having hearings set within 15 days, that's not a service that's provided. That's a legal responsibility that people require of us. That's why we have laws governing those situations.
Exactly. William, thank you very much. If you want to find William, it's williamfrancis.com. David?
Yes, once again, I'm running on experience, not endorsements. I've been doing this for 19 years. I've been trusted to handle the most serious matters that affect our community for over a decade. Being a judge is a huge responsibility, and I will take it seriously and follow the law. And my priorities might not necessarily be the priorities of the rest of the circuit court right now. They're using a different metric than I would use. But I will follow the law if I'm elected, and I will have expedited proceedings with child cases, and I will fast-track domestic violence cases. As far as holding violent offenders accountable, been doing that for
Long time.
A long time.
Thank you, David. His website, David Hoppe, the number 4 Judge, davidhoppe4judge.com. And Judge Peterson?
Yeah. Craig, thanks again for having us here. You know, I encourage your listeners to drive around their community. Look, they're going to see my signs in their neighbors' yards. They're going to see somebody who grew up here in Southern Oregon, is an Oregonian native, who families lives here with 2 young children and a wife, and counts that this is my home and this is what's important. And that's what I take to the court each day, treating people with respect, keeping our community safe, handing down justice in a fair manner, and that's what's important to me. I'm proud of my endorsements. I'm proud of the community rallying behind me, and I'm very much looking forward on May 20th to the voters of this county to get to weigh in on this issue, and I look forward to their support and for me to retain my seat on the circuit court. Thank you very much, Craig.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. We're out of time. William and David and Judge, thank you so much. We'll have you both in again. We got to go. News and weather is up next. Back after this.